This is my audience. And him. Then you're the recorder. Great. My cross-cutting theme was Global Interdependence by Audrey Lamb. That's me. Okay, so what is global interdependence? And this is just straight from the book, so I'm just going to read it to y'all. Global interdependence means the impact of people individually and collectively on the world and the effect of their actions on others. It encompasses interdependence in global production and consumption. Tangible connections with neighbors around the world are possible through migration, advanced communications, and travel technology. Decisions in one country directly affect what happens in all of the other countries of the world. That was straight from the textbook. And this here is a picture that I added that shows the Family and Consumer Sciences Body of Knowledge model, and you can see the global interdependence over here, around with the other major categories. Moving on. So my emerging trend that I chose was English language learners in school. Since I want to be a teacher, this is something that I will have to deal with probably for the rest of my life. So I was fascinated with it. What is an English language learner? Well, it is a student whose primary language is not English, obviously, whose English proficiency or lack thereof provides a barrier to successful learning. Okay, so they're learning English as they're learning their subjects, basically. This is a straight fact from the internet, but the amount of ELL students are growing in schools because of global migration. In other words, the more students that appear at a new school that comes from a multilingual family, the more ELL students in the U.S. And there's just more facts how it's growing over the years. So, yeah. Strengths for the family. The big three. 1, bilingual advantage. The students are going home with the knowledge that they've learned at school. Their parents are more than likely not English speakers, so they are transferring the knowledge that they learn at school to their parents. Maybe their parents are learning more English, and then more people know English, and it's better for the family, and they can be more successful. Cultural awareness. Obviously, the children come from different backgrounds and have different traditions, so they can bring everything that they have learned over the years at home into the school and kind of enrich like the community, and then the same thing, the things that they learn at school they can bring back home, and it's just like a big school. And then future opportunities. So being bilingual is a very desired skill. You could easily get a job if you know multiple languages. I know personally for my job at the YMCA, it would be very beneficial if I was bilingual. So that's just something that can help them in the future. And maybe even ELL students can motivate their parents and siblings to learn more English for a brighter future. Challenges for the family. This was something that I studied from the internet, so I'm just going to read it. Common challenges include language barriers, cultural differences, and logistical issues, such as transportation and work schedules. This is from a certain study, but many of our families work multiple jobs, making it difficult for them to attend school events, even though they consistently show commendable efforts to engage in our school communities. So obviously, a big challenge is the language barrier. It's really hard to communicate to someone that doesn't understand English at all. So that's something you kind of have to work with. There's always Google Translate. There's just extra steps you have to take in order to make sure information is received on both ends. And then when schools explain their rules and discipline and expectations for parent involvement, there may be confusion on what's expected of them. Another really big challenge would be for the student. They kind of could act as a translator from the parent to the teacher, and if they don't translate everything perfectly, there could be miscommunication, which is very stressful and hard on the kids. So that could be a big challenge for the family. Major issues to consider. So 1, they can't communicate what they already know. An ELL student might actually be advanced in, say, math or reading, but they might be advanced in that subject in their own language. Of course, when they come here or to like a new school and they have to learn English as they're learning the subject, they might not know what's going on just because of the language barrier. So that can be really hard. They might become disengaged and discouraged when they can't understand. I mean, if you can imagine going to like Mexico and, you know, or someplace where you just don't know any of the language there, I mean, it can be really frustrating. You can just become discouraged. So that's also an issue to consider. And then the language barrier might hurt their self-esteem. In a lot of classrooms, they have class discussions, and if a student isn't able to participate and show their opinions, they can feel left out and their self-esteem can be bruised. Parents might not know English either. As I said before, a lot of ELL students, their parents don't know English, so that can be hard when students have to bring home homework and their parents can't help them on what's going on in school because they don't understand it. And then they have to work twice as hard to keep up. Not only are they learning new subjects and new skills in each subject, but they are also learning English as they are learning the subject. So that is a major issue. Implications for families. Communication is a big one. So there needs to be great communication on both ends. Make sure all contact information is updated. Families need reliable ways to contact the school when they have questions or concerns, and schools also need to be able to contact the parents if anything happens at school with their child. So the best way to do this is to figure out how families prefer to communicate. It can be by text message, call, email, whatever way is the best way to reach them. That's probably the best. And then access to resources. So obviously like Google Translate or like facilitate, like someone that can communicate both ways and is fluent in both languages. That could be helpful. So implications for society as a whole. First, we've got global competitiveness. Those who can communicate through multiple languages can help strengthen a country's ability to compete in technology, international relations, and business. Then we've got a diverse workforce. So problem solving, serving multicultural communities, and innovation can all be easily achieved through a diverse workforce. And then culture enrichment, you know, the richer, more educated communities are made. Everyone benefits from perspectives of families of ELL students. The more you know, the better off you are. Did I skip one? No, okay. And then this is my case study, reading close to the end. This is my case study. I'm just going to read it because it was straight from a website. There's not much more to say about that. So at this specific school, it was Lindsay High School, which I'm going to shorten to LHS while I read this. So school leaders are building capacity for every teacher to support literacy across the curriculum. LHS supports literacy throughout the school day with independent practice time for verbal and writing skills. LHS integrates academic vocabulary and intensive personalized support for its ELL students in all content areas. English learning facilitators are lifting up vocabulary using sentence frames and graphic organizers and doing writing prompts. For example, math teachers ask students to write about their process in solving a math problem. Students are also encouraged to show their English learning facilitators evidence from other classes of their skills in writing. The effort to build capacity to teach literacy across the curriculum is benefiting more than the ELL students. Okay. Strengths and challenges to the case study. Again, I just used the ones from above and I kind of just explained how they were related. So bilingual advantage, the school focuses on writing, which can strengthen communication. Cultural awareness, the school encourages ELL students to share their perspective, which enriches the classroom discussion. It brings more than just the same topics. And then future opportunities, sentence frames, vocabulary building, and writing prompts helps ELL students to learn English more effectively. These skills will help them be successful in the future. Obviously, the challenges were the language barriers, the cultural differences, and then logistical issues. So the language barrier, you know, they don't know full English. cultural differences. They might have been taught something at home different from what they're learning at school. It's the expectations may be different, and then the logistical issues. At LHS, they have meetings and events, and if parents aren't able to be there even though they want to, that can be pretty hard. Okay, almost there. Global interdependence and ELL students' points of connection. Cross-cultural communication. Every country has to work with others who don't share the same language as them. This goes the same for the schools. At LHS, they don't have the same language always, so they have to use strategies like sentence frames, vocabulary support, and graphic organizers, which are skills needed in a globally connected world. Global perspective. LHS puts emphasis on literacy for every subject and strives to help every student along with those who are ELL. At LHS, the students gain the global skills of learning from their peers, sharing ideas, and valuing different viewpoints. And then share challenges and solutions. Schools have to work with one another across areas of content and in different departments to address literacy, just like nations work together to solve global issues. Why does this matter? Well, by supporting ELL students, everyone has equal opportunity. Everyone gets to learn. There is more perspective, tradition, and needs brought in and out of classroom, which can enrich the community. And then having diverse teaching styles can promote inclusive, stronger family outcomes and equity. For FCS professionals, honoring and assisting ELL students isn't just about teaching. It's about building a community where everyone feels included. Moreover, professionals strive to prepare families to thrive in a global world. Looking to the future. If trends were to continue, like I had shown in the beginning how ELL students were growing in schools, if these were to continue, maybe in 2050, we will have more Spanish speakers than English speakers. You just never know. It could happen. So, this would change schools, workplaces, and communities, making them more multilingual. With that said, ELL students in schools are so important because they may help shape the future. These are my cited sources. Thank you.